Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today I'm going to start a new series. This is going to be a very ambitious project for me, for the channel, something I've never tried before. What this is going to be is going to be a series of videos of actual play content, but I'm going to try something a little bit different. So if you've watched the channel before, actually if you've been kind of following the Facebook page, you know I've been teasing this for a couple of weeks now. And I think I'm ready to start this. I think I'm ready to launch this adventure, and I'm both exhilarated and I'm terrified because there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff I want to try to unpack. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I am a huge fan of narrative storytelling and the art of storytelling itself, as well as mythology and history and folklore. And so the idea I had was I wanted to blend a couple of different things. As I started to work through these ideas, I realized that this might work perfectly or it might be an utter disaster, but we're going to give it a whirl. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to incorporate ideas from Call to Adventure, and I'll explain to you in a second what this is all about and how we're going to use this. But we're going to blend Call to Adventure, the board game / card game, with one of my favorite role-playing games right now, Ironsworn, by Shawn Tomkin. We're going to blend these two together, and the reason we're doing that is because I want to explore the hero's journey as put forth by Joseph Campbell in the book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. If you have not checked out this book, if you're not familiar with Joseph Campbell, you need to be, especially if you're a fan of mythology, especially if you're a fan of folklore and legend and history. I highly recommend you checking out this book or any of his books, but I would recommend starting, excuse me, with The Hero with a Thousand Faces. What we're going to explore with this is that we're going to take a look at the growth and the journey of a hero and how that will translate into a role-playing game, and how, as Joseph Campbell kind of puts forth, that the hero's journey, there's a basis for all of the tales that we tell and the myths that we create, and there's a sort of a core root for all those, and they're the same. It's sort of the same human experience throughout time, and he gives lots of examples of different mythologies and folk tales and stuff that all exemplify those ideas of the same hero with 1,000 different faces. So it's going to be kind of an ambitious project. It's going to be kind of a scholarly approach to this, but what I hope to sort of bring to the fore is the idea that as we're playing role-playing games, as we're creating stories, as we're making myths and legends at our tables, that you'll be able to see that we're all telling the same story, but we're creating our own individual twists on it. So how this is going to work is we're going to start with Call to Adventure, and what we're going to do is we're going to basically create the background for our character in Ironsworn using it, and then what I'm going to do is take the results from Call to Adventure and port it over into Ironsworn. Now, the idea behind this, Call to Adventure is a board game that is basically creating a character's story, their background, the reason that they've come to being the hero that they are. And what's really, really interesting, and this is what really caught my eye, is that Call to Adventure is the title of the first chapter of the book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. That was my impetus for using this game. I have been wanting to do an Ironsworn sort of actual play for a while, but the idea came to me by using this to sort of create our world structure for Ironsworn, as well as our character. And we're going to make a few modifications for this. We don't really care about the win conditions for this game. For Call to Adventure at this point, we're simply creating our character. We're creating our backstory, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the things like the villain, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll randomly choose a villain, and we'll randomly choose what our character type and our destiny and our background is going to be. And then any allies that we come across while we're in here as well too, I'm going to port over into Ironsworn. So our villain, our nemesis, or adversary in this game, which we'll choose here in a minute, will become sort of our background vow in Ironsworn. Any allies that we meet during this game, during Call to Adventure, will be our starting bonds in Ironsworn. So I want to use this to kind of create our background story, and then we'll do an actual, probably short campaign using Ironsworn with the character that we create from Call to Adventure. So let's get started. I have chosen 3, there's actually 6 here, but I've chosen 3 adversaries that will be our sort of big bad guy. That will be our sort of background vow, our starting background vow for Ironsworn. And what we're going to do is there's 2 levels here. There's 2s and 3s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to flip one of these tokens. Okay, so the sun token is going to be this group of adversaries, and the moon token will be, moon side will be this adversaries, and then we'll randomly shuffle them and draw one. So we'll just flip this, and it is a sun. So we will draw from this pile. Put these back in the box. And I'll shuffle these up. And our adversary for our Ironsworn game will be, the sorceress. So what we're going to do here is, like I said, we're not going to worry about win conditions, because we're not really trying to win this game. What we're trying to do is build a character. So what we're going to do is we're going to put her out. We're going to give her her special card. And what I'll do is I will record between this session and the next video. I'll record and transfer all the stuff that we've done from here over into Ironsworn. And I'll walk through the process of how I did that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the sorceress her adversary quest card, which is one of these, and at least give us a way of knowing how much at the forefront she's going to be in our campaign in Ironsworn. So I'll put these back in the box. I'm going to put her right here. So we are going to use this. This is a card that comes with Call to Adventure, and basically if the adversary in solo mode gets this many experience points, they win. And I think with what we're going to do with Call to Adventure and the blend with Ironsworn is that if they achieve this, they don't necessarily win the game, but they're going to be very much at the forefront, in our face, when it comes to the Ironsworn. So Madness of the Sorceress is their adversary quest card. And this gives us a little bit more challenges. So these arcane challenges have a +1 difficulty. So it's going to make our thing a little bit more difficult if we decide to do these types of quests. And now the other thing you have to understand as well too is that if you've played Ironsworn before, you know that before you actually create a character, you're creating your world truths. There are some implied world truths within Call to Adventure that we're going to sort of port over. The idea that there are kingdoms, there are cities, there are plentiful magics, and so we're going to make those part of our world truths. And I'll go into that next video when I actually talk about how we're going to port this over into Ironsworn, and I'll probably do just a whole video on what we've taken from Call to Adventure and put into Ironsworn, and then the following video will actually start the campaign for Ironsworn. I'll show you the character, all that kind of great stuff. So for right now, we're going to do, we have to realize that there is a kind of an implied rough setting for Call to Adventure. The idea that there are kingdoms, and there are large sprawling cities and such. There's plentiful magic. There are gods as well too. So that's going to form the basis of our world view, our world truths for Ironsworn. One of the other things we need to address kind of for Call to Adventure is that our character, we're going to randomly determine what our character's background is, their motivations, and their destinies. And we're going to do that now. I've shuffled up these 3 decks, and I'm just going to draw the top card of each to kind of reveal what our character is going to be. And this is kind of tying into Joseph Campbell in that we don't really know who our character is going to be. We're going to let sort of fate decide our destiny and our journey and our impetus of why we've started this call to adventure. So we'll start with this. This is sort of who we are. We're a squire. Okay, so interesting. And if you don't know too much about Call to Adventure, there are plenty of other great how to play videos out there. I highly encourage you to go check one out before watching this, because I'm not going to explain really how the game plays. I'm just going to play the game, because what we're doing here is we're trying to create that character. So if you haven't played Call to Adventure before, highly recommend it, man. I love this game. This game is, not only is it beautiful, but it's just a joy to play. So our character is a squire. We know that much, okay? So it means instantly we know that we're sort of beholden or under the rule of someone else, maybe a knight or a king or some kind of a ruler, overseer. But we know that we are starting as a squire. So I'll get rid of this deck, and this is going to go into our first spot here. Okay, next we need to know what our sort of motivation is. Oh, this is perfect. This is working out really well. Another thing this game does too is it has such broad categories that they fit very, very well. So we are a squire who is bound to honor. So instantly we're getting an idea of what our character is here, and our sort of motivations and our backgrounds and stuff. So as a squire, we're beholden to somebody under their rule. Bound by honor means that it is very important to us to be that person, to prove ourselves, to be honorable and uphold the person we're beholden to, their core ideals and beliefs. Okay, and then we'll see what our destiny is. And what we're going to do with the destiny card here is this is something we're going to try to strive for in Ironsworn. It'll be part of our background vow as tied to the sorceress some way. The top one is Hand of Vengeance. Okay. So instantly our story has already started. It's already started to create itself. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, as a squire and bound to honor, I think the person we were beholden to, the person that we served under, has been murdered by the sorceress. And this is our goal. This is our destiny, that our vow has already sort of written itself. That we will seek revenge for our Lord. And I'll generate up names and stuff and bonds for all these. Seeking revenge on the sorceress for the death of our Lord. Okay. I've already laid out, and you can't really see, there's actually 3 tiers up here. There's 3 acts that we work through in our story. And the first one is starts revealed. There are tasks that we must accomplish or adventures we have to complete. There are some traits and stuff that we can gather as well too. And actually, if you can kind of see up here, we have an ally already in play, but doesn't really belong to us yet. Under the rebellious task, there's an animal companion as well too. We have our runes, our starting runes ready to go, and we'll gain some more as we go. All right, we're going to start with a hero card as well too. Let's see what that is. Brilliant plan. We can play this before we attempt a challenge. We can add intelligence, or I think this is wisdom. Yes, intelligence or wisdom to the task at any time. So we're going to lay this over here. If we can still, can still see that. And we're going to dive right in. We're going to start. So here we have this trait, and it's called Secret Royalty. That's an interesting twist. Is our squire, who's bound by honor, seeking the revenge for our lord on the sorceress, is the squire secret royalty? And it says that we can gain this if we discard a hero card or we pay an experience. And we start the game with 3 experience. points, and we can gain that as we go. But so we can pay one of those, or we can discard our brilliant plan in order to gain this. I think this is a really interesting twist, and I really I think we should probably go for this, because I think that's it adds a little bit more depth to our character. The fact that maybe we are secretly royalty. No one really knows about it except for us and maybe a few select others. So we're going to do that, but we're not going to... I want to keep our hero card. I think the Brilliant Plan is going to come into play very well, seeing as how we don't... starting off, we have strength and we have dexterity, but we don't have any intelligence or wisdom in our thing. Now, here's an interesting thing to call to adventure. The symbols that it uses, the sort of attributes that it uses, are very D&D. It's strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And I thought for a while that I wanted to use D&D 5th edition with the solo supplement, the Solo Adventurer's Toolkit, to run this experiment. But then the more and more I thought about it, I thought that it fits better with Ironsworn, and Ironsworn just does this very well. It's already meant to be a solo. Well, it's one of the modes of this game is solo, and so it's already kind of baked into the rules. But it also, I think the vows and the bonds work really well for this. Plus, I think that the dice mechanic for this is genius. So I went with Ironsworn instead of D&D. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the attributes from this game, and I'm going to kind of convert them over into Ironsworn to make that work as well. So what we're going to do is I want to keep my brilliant plan, and I'm going to spend a experience point to gain this. Now what this does is this gives us a charisma rune if we need it. And it also is going to add a very cool royalty logo to our pool. And what that means, I don't know yet. We'll figure that out as time goes on. But secret royalty. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide that under here. If you don't know, Call to Adventure, each act once you've accumulated 3 cards under your first thing, you move on to Act 2, and then I'll scoot those down so we can actually see Act 2 and Act 3, and then we'll go from there. So now we're going to fill the empty spot that's there, and we have an ally. When an ally comes out, they have to be placed under a challenge. So let's see, a mentor ally. We have arcane ability and train as a spy. The sorceress, I think, again, the story is kind of teaching itself, kind of building itself through the cards. I think what I would like to do with this is, I'm going to put this under arcane ability, because I think what it is that we know that the sorceress has killed our lord, and our liege, if you will. And we know that in order to defeat her, we're going to need to learn some magic. So this task, this challenge, is actually arcane ability. It's called a magical test, and there's two different sort of challenges here. There's the arcane ability challenge, and there's the sorceress talent. And I think we might actually go for one of these here pretty soon. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to flip another card to fill the spot. Childhood friend. We're going to slide that underneath the train as a spy. Thieves Guild thing. I don't know if we're going to go with the Thieves Guild thing or not. We'll flip another one. And then this one is Harness Dark Power. Ooh, that's interesting as well too, right? Are we going to take that step? Are we going to go into, seeking out this dangerous artifact in order to, try to get this focused a little better. Seeking out this dangerous artifact in order to try to take on the sorceress. That's something we might decide. It's that idea that's kind of hovering in the back of our minds, right? First thing we're going to do is, I think we're going to go for this magical test. We're going to go we're going to find this mentor and have someone teach us some magic in order so that we can try to defeat the sorceress. So we'll have a little bit of that idea. This will create our in Ironsworn, it will actually create our abilities and stuff as well. If you don't know, Ironsworn at all, it's going to give us, we start off the game with 3 assets. And so we're kind of building that right now with these ideas that are sort of popping up. Now, so we now have to make a test. We have to make a test to try to take this talent, or to try to defeat this challenge. Now, arcane ability, or we're going to go with sorcerer's talent. We're going to see if we have some sort of latent thing that this mentor can sort of unlock for us during this magical test. So over here it tells us that the difficulty is 4, and it's going to be an intelligence and a charisma challenge. We do have those available to us, so we're going to start with our 3 core runes, and we have this card that we can use to add our intelligence to that. And because we have secret royalty, we're going to add 2 of those. So we're going to add our intelligence, and we're going to add a charisma to that. So we're going to spend this. It says play before you attempt a challenge. Add an extra intelligence or wisdom rune to your attempt. So we're going to discard that. We're going to take our runes. We need to get looks like a 4 or higher. We're going to get our cool dice tray out here. We're going to toss these runes. All right, so this counts as 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. So that's great. We've accomplished this test. So we're going to take this now. Our reward for this is that we're going to get another charisma, a token added to our rune pool. But we're also going to draw a dark or anti-hero card. So interesting. So we're going to slide this under here. Like so. And then our mentor, we're going to add to our side pool, to our thing here. He's always going to be able to help us. It says you may spend a experience point or sacrifice his ally to gain +1. This is wisdom until the end of turn. So very, very cool. We're going to set him over here. He's always going to be there available to us. Unless we use this ability, we actually sacrifice him, which again adds some cool story elements if that ever happens. So let's return these to our pool and gain our starting tokens here. So we have one more challenge to face before we actually move on to the next act. We'll refill this, and it's win a friend's or win a foe's. It's called childhood rival. One of the things is win a foe's loyalty or crush your rival. So, looking at what's out here before us, we have rebellious, which I not really feeling it for our character. Train as a spy with the Thieves Guild, not really feeling that either, because we want to try to we have this bound by honor. We're really trying to push ourselves more, and. Let's see. Win a childhood rival, maybe, but I'm really leaning towards this dangerous artifact. I think this is a cool idea. I think that because we forgot to draw our anti-hero card. So our anti-hero card is Desperate Rage. For each dark icon that we have in our story, which is our story is right here, we gain a +1 to the next challenge this turn. So we'll keep that over here, and we'll try to remember that if we ever get to desperate to where we need to rage. I think because we've drawn that dark or anti-hero card, it has in some way prompted us to seek out this dangerous artifact. Now that we have a little bit of arcane talent, and we know that we've unlocked that through our use of our training with our mentor, I think that we're craving power a little bit. Now, this might push us into the dark realm over here. And if it does, it's going to affect the way our character is. It's going to be truly fueled by revenge. And I think we might be leaning that way with Hand of Vengeance, right? Like this, our character might be a redemption story. Again, something that's really called out in this as well too. And if you ever watch Star Wars, it's well known that George Lucas actually used a lot of Joseph Campbell's writings in his influence of Star Wars, and the idea of Darth Vader's sort of redemption story. So I think that this is where we're headed with this. Our mentor, our liege, has been killed, and by the sorceress, we're seeking revenge, and so we're starting down that sort of dark path. So I think we're going to try to go for this. We're not going to try to resist the temptation. I think we're actually going to try to harness the dark power. So that'll be our next challenge. Now, interestingly enough, it's a challenge of 4 again, and it allows us to use Constitution or Intelligence or both. So let's see. We have our 3 core runes. We don't have any Intelligence, nor do we have that card left to allow us to use Intelligence. But we see. We don't really have any dark points in our story yet. So we might have to wait on that. We might have to just see what's coming up, because we can't actually defeat that challenge. We're not actually able to do that with just our core runes. Because a challenge of 4, we only have the opportunity of getting 3 successes. So I think maybe what we're going to do is we're going to turn to this childhood rival. So interesting twist to this idea or a character. Maybe there was a childhood rival as we were growing up. Maybe there was somebody else seeking the affections of our liege. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to win their loyalty. So what this means for us is in our story, in our hero's journey, is that we're going to, if we do this, we're going to add this as a bond. We'll create our rival in Ironsworn, and we'll make it a bond that there's someone there, an NPC, that can help us at some given point. So we're going to try this. It allows us to use strength, which we have, and charisma, which we also have. So let's try that. So we're going to gather this. We have 1 strength, so we'll take 1 strength rune. We have 2 charisma, so we'll add 2 charisma to our pool. And I think that's going to be it. We're not going to need the Desperate Rage, and it doesn't really fit with the idea. But we need a 4 or better, so let's toss our runes. Wow, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Absolutely. So we were totally able to take on this challenge and win our childhood rival's loyalty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this into our little tableau here. It's going to go up top like so. And we've completed Act 1. So this is the call to adventure. This is the part 1 of Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces. We've completed sort of Act 1 of this, Chapter 1, if you will, of the story, where we have a squire who's won a foe's loyalty, who has secret royalty heritage. We'll decide using an oracle whether our childhood foe actually knows that we're secret royalty, and now we have a sorceress talent to help us on our road to defeating the sorceress. So give me just a second. I'm going to move all these cards down so we can head into Act 2. Okay, so here we are. Moved all the cards down. I've flipped over the Act 2 cards. We're moving into the next stage of our character background, and I'll show you what we got here. So one of the talents that we flipped up is Criminal. Don't know if we want to go that route yet, but it's available. We have a Sidekick, which is an ally, which means we need to put it underneath one of our challenges here. And this one's called The Distant Land. There's a couple of different things there. So I'm going to slide the Sidekick underneath that. We'll refill that card here in a minute. And our other challenge here is a Daring Heist. Doesn't really fit with our storyline, but we'll leave it out there, see what happens. And we'll fill our other hole here. And Initiative is our other sort of talent, our other trait here, which is very interesting. We might go for that as well too. This will give us a anti-hero card. It'll give us some more arcane thing to our story and more intelligence. So here we are. The two that I think instantly sort of further the story of our character here would be initiative or lead an expedition. I think with this sidekick underneath here, you'll notice that it actually makes it more difficult and adds +1 to this challenge. One of the options is to lead an expedition, and the other one is to discover the unknown. I like this one because I think what it is that we don't know where the sorceress is. We don't know where she's hiding out. We don't know where her sort of secret place is. So what I want to do is I think I want to try to discover the unknown, and it'll make this a more difficult idea with our sidekick traveling on. I think our sidekick actually might be our childhood foe. I think he's actually going to be, that'll form one of our assets in Ironsworn, is that we have this guy with us, a companion along on our journey, and he's going to go with us to try to discover the unknown, her unknown lair, wherever it's out there. So that'll be an interesting idea once we go into Ironsworn. If we're successful at this, we'll know what our destination is and how to get there. But first, I think we're going to take initiative to try and do this. We're going to try to one-up her and try to strike out at her before she can strike back at us, or discover who we are, or some kind of idea behind that. It says you may only gain this if you have intelligence and dexterity, or I spend 2 hero points. So I have intelligence. No, I don't have intelligence anymore. We used that card. I do have dexterity. We have a ton of charisma. So I think I actually might just have to spend our last 2 experience points in order to gain this. So I think I will. There's chances to get more experience later, but we'll see how that plays out. In fact, one of the ways we can get that is by our Bound by Honor. If we overcome a challenge by 1 or less, we're going to gain more experience. So initiative is going to go underneath here. We're going to gain intelligence, which is totally what we need. We need some more intelligence, some more knowledge on the sorceress and how to defeat her. It's also going to give us another anti-hero card. This could be, harsh lesson. This game just is just soaked with great ideas. I think that this game would be great to create any sort of character for any role-playing game, any sort of fantasy role-playing game. But it's just playing a solo session of this is already just creating an awesome character for us. So harsh lesson. If any hero failed a challenge this turn, a gaining experience. So we're learning from our failures. So we'll keep that over here with danger or desperate rage, just in case we need it. All right, now we're going to refill this. Unlock a secret vault. Vault of Secrets. Oh gosh, this might be a really good one as well too. It's a 4. So there's two sides to this. There's unlock a secret vault, and then learn forgotten lore. This one would give us more intelligence and an arcane token. This would give us some dexterity, as well as another dark anti-hero card. So I think maybe what we'll do is in going with a story narrative behind this, I think it would be interesting if we did a discover the unknown first, looking for this secret vault. We don't know where the sorceress is, but we're trying to find the secret vault to give us more arcane knowledge to try to defeat her. So we're going to try that first. We're going to try to discover the unknown. It's a 4 difficulty. It makes it 5 because our sidekick is with us, our childhood foe that is now our friend. So we're going to take our 3. Oops, I never reset our token pool from before. So let's put those back for now. So we have our 3 starting tokens. It's going to allow us to use Constitution, which we don't have any of, and Intelligence. So we have 1 Intelligence now, so we'll add that. We need to get a 5. That's going to be pretty hard to do. So what I'm going... I can't, can I? I don't have any dark in my tab in my story yet. Spend experience. I don't have any experience left, so this is going to be really tough. It'd be 5. There's a chance that we could do it, but it's very, very slim, so we'll give it a shot. So we get 2, 3, 4. We're 1 shy. We weren't able to do it, but this allows us to draw a card. And because where we're at on our sort of scheme of sort of alignment, we're able to choose which one we want. I think we're going to go for a hero card. Draw a hero card. Another brilliant plan. Perfect. I love that. We can't use it because we have to play it before this, but because we failed, I'm going to do harsh lesson. Harsh lesson is that maybe we're going to gain an experience point for that. So we'll put another experience point up here. Put it here so you can actually see it. We failed in our expedition, possibly. We were seeking out this lost vault and our vault of secrets, and we were able to do that. Maybe the harsh lesson is that our sidekick died. Our childhood friend was lost. Let's say he's lost. Maybe he's not dead, but we were separated from him, and then we now lost. That'll add another layer to the story of possibly another sort of side quest that we can try to re-find him as well too. So we're going to discard that, and then these get discarded as well. Okay, and we'll move on to the next part. Leading a boarding party, a naval battle. Interesting. That's really, really interesting. Let's see. So what we have here, maybe we actually are we think we know where the Vault of Secrets is. But again, our harsh lesson was that our friend, our childhood rival, that's now our friend, has been lost. So we're going to try for this. We're going to try to see if we can, do we want to go down the dark path, or do we want to try and push forward for this thing here? Learn forgotten lore. So that gives us intelligence, which we have 1. Let's see, we have dexterity or intelligence. We have both of those. Let's go for this. Now, what our sorceress does is interesting. So any challenges that we take that have this arcane logo, she's going to add plus 1 difficulty to it. So this is actually going to be a 5 difficulty for us. So we're going to try that. But I think we're in good hands here, because we have our 3 starting runes. It says we can use dexterity, which we have 1. Okay, and it says that we can also use intelligence, which we have 1 as well. And we need a 5, so we're going to shake these up and see what happens. Can we have anything that can help us here? You know what? We might actually use this brilliant plan just to make sure we do this, to see if we actually planned out, thought it out, schemed out where this place was. We're going to add an extra intelligence to that. So that's going to further our chances of doing so. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. All right. So we found the Vault of Secrets, and we learned some forgotten lore that's going to help us in our thing. Now, Bound by Honor says that if we overcame it by 1 or less, which we did, we got 6 instead of 5. We're going to gain another experience, which is perfect, because the experience helps us unlock a bunch of stuff. And we're going to slide this into our story here. All right, we'll refill this. And this one is trench warfare. Interesting. Another challenge. Lead an attack or tend to the injured. So that, again, kind of creates more story background for us. Let's see. We have naval battle. We could take a criminal asset. We could engage in some trench warfare. Or we can do a daring heist. So what do we have here? We need 1 more to finish this act. I think we might, on our travels to try to find that. So we've discovered the secret vault. We have this new knowledge, this new forgotten lore that we've learned. I think on our journey to try and find the sorceress's lair, we board a ship, and as we do so, some of her minions attack us, and we engage in a naval battle. So our choices here are lead a boarding party, which we can use strength or intelligence here, or we can try to sink the enemy ship. If we do so, we're going to gain 3 dark points, pushing us, further down on our alignment tracker towards the dark. I think that's kind of an interesting twist on our character here, is that we are slowly sliding towards the dark path in our vengeance. So let's see, we can gain 2. We can actually raise our sort of alignment up to the more positive side if we do this one, or we can sink the ship. It doesn't make it a little bit more difficult. I think we're going to just lead a boarding party. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to gather our runes. I need to reset the stuff that we've done here. And let's see. Okay. Now it says that to lead it, we can use strength and intelligence. We have both. We have 1 strength, so we're going to add that to our pool. And we have 2 intelligence now for our Learning Forgotten Lore. And we need a 5 or better to defeat this challenge. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so 7, perfect. We were able to lead a boarding party. This is adding into our sort of bound by honor, our squireship. We have some training, martial training. We lead a boarding party and we're successful. We're going to go up 2 on our track here. So we're leaning more now towards the lighter side of our alignment, a little bit more heroic, and we're also going to gain access to another strength token as well too. So that completes Act 2 for us here, and we are moving a step closer to creating our character for this collaboration of Call to Adventure and Ironsworn. Give me just a few minutes. I'll come back and we'll reset and we'll start on Act 3. Okay, here we are in Act 3, the final act of our character's call to adventure, the impetus of our Ironsworn campaign, and we have 4 new challenges here. The first one is the Assassin's Guild. We can try to destroy the assassins or overtake the guild. I like this one a lot. The Queen's Chambers, win the Queen's favor or unseat the Queen. Interesting. Force of Nature. We can try to enslave the forest spirit or restore balance to nature. And Ancient Evil. Banish the Fiend. Sorry, this is very unfocused there. Or bargain for power. So a couple of interesting things here. We can go to the Queen's Chambers and maybe try to find another ally, another bond that'll help us on our quest. Maybe, win the Queen's favor. It gives us a bond with the Queen, and that she gives us some sort of assistance in finding and defeating the sorceress, which is going to be our background vow. Interesting idea there. I think that the sorceress's power is actually unleashing some devastation across the land. So it would be interesting to try to restore the balance to that. It's going to make these are very hard. These are much more hard challenges. So this would actually make it an 8 challenge. So that's going to be very, very difficult. Or there's this one, the Ancient Evil, which I think maybe this would create there's a sort of a picture of a dragon here. The idea that maybe the sorceress is this ancient evil, and she has, summoned these creatures maybe to help her. So we can try to banish this fiend, or we can bargain with it for more power to defeat its master. Interesting. That one's going to be 6. Challenge rating is 6, 7 to 7. I don't think we're going to go for the Assassin's Guild, although it might be interesting to try to overtake the guild and have them as allies. But I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, I really like this. This allows us to use intelligence and dexterity. No, intelligence and wisdom. We have, let's see, what do we have to use here? So we have intelligence. We have 2 of those. And we can also spend using our mentor, we can spend a experience in order to gain some wisdom as well. So I think we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to try to banish it, or do we want to bargain for power? Let's flip for it. All right, Ironsworn's all about oracles and stuff. This is, we're going to go for the lighter side of things. We're trying to banish the fiend. The moon, or the dark icon, is going, we're going to try to bargain for power. So let's flip for that. And we're going to try to banish the fiend. So the sorceress has called forth some a fiend in order to help her. We're going to try and banish the fiend in order to advance our movement towards her. So let's reset our pool here. We are going to get to use intelligence and dexterity. No, excuse me. I keep calling it dexterity. Intelligence or wisdom. So our 3 starting runes. We have 2 intelligence. Oh, we don't want that one. We have 2 intelligence that we'll add to it. And we're going to pay an experience from our mentor to give us a... gain us a wisdom rune as well. We need 6. It's possible we have 2, 4, 6 runes. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just try to go with it and see what happens. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We failed miserably, but we do get to draw another card, and it's going to be a hero card because we're way up here at the top. Divine Favor. Play this before you attempt to challenge. Gives us some extra stuff. So we can't use it now. But we were unable to banish the fiend. So interesting. So the fiend's still at large. We've battled with the fiend, or we've faced the fiend. But we were unable to defeat him. So he is still now another threat for us in our Ironsworn campaign. So I'll set him aside. We failed that. Let's see, anything bad effects that go on with this. Once per turn you may discard blah blah blah. Okay, no, so nothing bad there, except for we failed to defeat him. We'll draw another one. This is Into the Abyss. Journey to the underworld, or rescue a lost love. All right, interesting. So do we turn to the queen in order to try to gain more power, more knowledge, more background, more help in defeating the sorceress? Or do we journey into the abyss? I think I rescue our lost love. We might replace love with our companion. Maybe we've discovered that in searching for that secret vault, our companion who was lost maybe was sucked into the abyss. And so we're going to go try to find them. It's going to make it a difficulty of 6. And we can only use Constitution, which we have none of. Okay. So that might not be it. Well, that's going to be very, very tough for us. So I say we go to the queen first and try to win her favor. All right, so it's a challenge of 7, but we get to use, again, Constitution, or we get to try to use some of our charisma as well, too. So let's build our pool and see if we can make this happen. So we have our 3 basic runes, and we can use charisma or Constitution. So charisma, we have 1, 2, 3. Now here's an interesting thing. You can only gain up to 3 runes in a particular attribute. Once you get to the 3rd rune, you get the special rune. This one, on a lot of these, there's a 2 success and 1 success. This is a 2 success, and it gives us this dark triangle. So if we ever roll this, we get an anti-hero card for that. So we're going to get 3 of those. Anything else that we can do? Charisma. I'm going to call upon divine favor. I'm going to call upon one of the gods and be like, you know, send a prayer up to one of the gods that, again, will create as our story progresses. But I can play this before an attempt, and I can add an extra. Oh, I can't. I already have 3. Interesting. All right. Well, let's just go with the fate of the die of the tokens. We're hoping for 7. This is going to be really, really tough. There's nothing else that we can do, I don't believe. Nothing we can really add. All right, let's just trust in fate, see what happens. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6. So we just failed that. But we get to draw another hero card. Narrow escape, play this before you play an attempt. All right, so nothing there that's going to help us in this. Now we have another foe. This is kind of how I see this. I see that we've tried to gain the queen's favors in her chambers, and we failed. And she's now angry with us. So now we have another foe, another side quest of the game that unlocks more potential narrativeness. So I'll set this aside. This is a tough round. And the one we draw was a Crypt of Horrors. You can try to disarm deadly traps or destroy the demi-lich. All right, so interesting here again too. We're going to add this to our truce to the game. Now there are demi-liches in Ironsworn. It's not a normal enemy in there, but interesting that we can add that to our world truce. Let's look at this. Let me reset my pool of things here. Now, one of the things that we can do is that we can spend experience to draw in another one of these dark runes, and it will help us. These are always successful, but if we roll or flip one of these, it gives us a dark token, moves us further down the path. So I think we're going to let's see. I think we're going to try to restore balance. I think we're going to try to take on this force of nature. We're going to try to fix the land by ourselves now, and we're going to try to restore balance. It's going to make it very tough. It's going to make it 8. It allows us to use our wisdom and our charisma. And let's see, is this going to give us, do we have anything that we can add to this? So I'll show you how this dark rune, so this is going to be an 8. This is going to be really, really tough. So we're going to take our 3 core runes. We're going to be able to use wisdom, which we have none of, but let's see. We're going to use divine favor to try to draw in a wisdom rune. So we'll discard that. We're going to draw in our 1, 2, 3 charisma. And because it's an 8, I'm going to spend our last experience point to draw in a dark rune. We're going to push ourselves towards our dark impulses a little bit in order to try to do this. Draw upon our arcane knowledge that we've gained to try and accomplish this. All right, so we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and we get to draw a hero card. Boom, glorious victory. If you overcame a challenge this turn without using dark runes, we did, so we can't use that one right now. We'll set that aside. Let's see, what else? So we are able to do this. We gain some tokens here, but we also gain 5 sort of moving up in our thing, but doesn't do us any good because we're already at max. So we're going to slide this under here. Doesn't really give us much other than more story to imply into our Ironsworn campaign. Going to reset our runes. And we didn't roll any bad effects on our dark runes, so we're going to stay up there at our divine favoredness there. And we're going to flip over another card. Ooh, the demon. This is an adversary. So this is much like the sorceress. This is interesting. So now I think that this demon is going to come into play as well too. That maybe the sorceress, is actually, this is where she draws her power from, right? The demon is some place that she draws her divine power from. So this is going to enter into this thing. So we can try to defeat this, which is super, super hard. I can't use any hero cards or anti-hero cards during the challenge. I would only be able to use my dexterity and my intelligence to try to defeat it. Let's see. So we could actually sort of stymie the sorceress if we were able to do that. Oh, gosh. I think in order to do that, we're going to have to travel to the Abyss first, right? That just seems like a natural progression, that we need to go to the Abyss in order to confront the demon. So let's journey. Oh, gosh, I don't have anything that can help me with that, though. Let's see. Narrow escape. Play this before you attempt a challenge. That's a 5. Okay, yeah. So we're going to journey into the Abyss, journey into the underworld. We're going to use narrow escape, which allows us to play this before an attempt at the challenge, and I can add a dexterity rune or a charisma rune to my thing. And it only allows me to use Constitution, sorry. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add this. It's a toughness of 5. We're going to add a Constitution rune to it. And I don't have any experience left, so I can't draw any more dark runes in right now. I don't have anything else that can really help me. Glorious victory, no. Do I have any dark points in my story? I really don't. I really sort of, even though I've been kind of seeking revenge, we have been pushing more to the honorable side, which I think is bound by honor. So we're going to have to just attempt this with a 5 and see what happens. Ah, we failed horribly. We do get to draw a card. Narrow escape, another one. There's duplicates of a lot of this stuff in there, which is great. But we failed that horribly. So we are now lost in the abyss. Somewhere in the abyss, there we are. Or maybe we were just unable to even make it to the underworld. I think that's probably more likely. We just were not able to enter into the underworld. We don't have enough arcane power to do so. So we'll set that aside. And the warlord, geez, oh Pete's. Okay, so we have the warlord now. So this is another adversary. It's going to add another layer to our thing. I don't know really yet if the warlord is connected to the sorceress or not, but there's now a warlord out there that's going to hamper, again, another story thread, which makes our Ironsworn thing, maybe the warlord is threatening our land, which again gives us another vow to try to accomplish. Very, very cool. I love this idea. It's really building the story as we're going on. But now we have to try to decide what we're going to do. I think we're going to try to attempt the Crypt of Horrors. We're going to try to delve into the Crypt of Horrors. We're trying to disarm deadly traps. We're maybe trying to find our way again further into the land, trying to discover where the sorceress is so we can defeat her and her demon lord that she's drawing power from. So let's attempt that. It's going to allow us to use dexterity and wisdom. So we'll get rid of this. We will take our 3 core runes. Dexterity wise, we have 1. Have been missing up on some of the squire stuff. We could have had more experience, but it's fine. Well, actually not. We haven't been really using a lot of dexterity. So we have a dexterity, and we can use wisdom. I don't think we have any access to any other wisdom here. I could sacrifice my mentor to do so. It's a challenge of 6. I think I will. Actually, I'm going to sacrifice, because I don't have any experience to spend right now. And it says I can sacrifice this ally in order to gain a wisdom rune. So I think I might. I think something happens in our story, and then I'll discover that in a little bit. But our mentor actually dies, giving us some wisdom in order to overcome this challenge. So he is actually out of the fight. I will set him off to the side. He has sacrificed himself, or some degree that we have to give us some wisdom on defeating this script of horrors. It's a 6. We're going to have to go with these runes that we have here. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh. This act is brutal. It is tearing us apart. I should have used some of this stuff, but I didn't. Now, because we do show one of these runes, we are going to get an experience for that. That's part of our Squire trait. All right, well, we failed that one. Maybe he was with us, and it was the deadly traps that actually sacrificed him. Actually, he died at one of the traps trying to overcome the Crypt of Horrors. Discard that. And Supernatural. So, yeah, here we go. This, I think, we're going to try to happen. We're going to try to delve into more power in order to defeat the sorceress. It says you may only gain this if you have Constitution and Charisma. We have lots of Charisma, but no Constitution. Or if you've played 3 Dark Power or Anti-Hero cards, we've only played 1. So this is still out of our grasp. We are not able to commune with the supernatural as of yet. Let's see what we can try and do here. Not a lot of options. Now, I can experience, I can spend an experience, which is called a journey, which means I can get rid of one of these cards and draw a new one, which I think I might do, because at this point, I don't really have enough to do anything useful. Actually, no, that's not true. Let's do it. I'm going to spend an experience point. We're going to get rid of this destroy the assassins thing. Put that at the bottom because it's not part of our story. I'm going to draw this. Oh, heroic rescue. Call for mercy or save the innocent. Yep. I think this heroic rescue is our friend, our childhood nemesis, the rival that has become our friend. We've discovered him. He's been captured, obviously, by this pitcher, and we're going to try to save him. It's going to make it a difficulty of 7. We use dexterity and charisma, which we have tons of now, so we'll do that. Take our starting runes. We're going to add our charisma to that. So we're going to get 3 of those. So we have 1, 2, 3 icons there. We can also use dexterity. We have 1 dexterity. And let's see. Oops, that was there. It's going to be a challenge of 7. Do we have anything else that can help us? I think we might use Narrow Escape. Play this before, again, focus. Play this before you attempt a challenge. You can add an extra dexterity. I really want this to happen. We really want to get our person back here, our friend. Childhood rival that has now become our sort of sidekick, our companion. All right, let's try to do this. We need a 7 successes. We have 2. We have 4, 5, 6, 7. We are successful. We're going to gain a experience for our Bound by Honor. We're also going to play Glorious Victory. It says if you overcame a challenge this turn without using dark runes and the result exceeds the difficulty. Oh, it does not. All right, so we can't use that one. All right, well, that's fair. But we do draw, because of this rune here, we are going to draw a Dark Powers card, anti-hero card, and it is Relentless. Play this after you have attempted a challenge. You may attempt it again, adding a dark rune to the attempt. Ooh, interesting. All right, so we'll keep that there. We will reset our pool. All right. Put these back up here. And we have indeed rescued our friend and our companion. We're going to add this back under here. That's going to give us another dexterity. So that gives us another extra dexterity rune, and also gives us, pushes us further into the sort of not divinity. It's more of that sort of valorous accomplishments, but we're already max over here. And we are one card away, one challenge away from completing Act 3 and the basis, the history, the background of our character for Ironsworn. So we draw Divine Calling, okay, Champion of Light, or Servant of Darkness. Okay, so I think the demon is definitely out there. I think the sorceress actually really draws her power from the demon. Again, the warlord is out there as well too, sort of threatening the land. But I think we might try to pull upon one of these, Supernatural or Champion of Light. Do we call upon the gods? Do we become? Do we actually turn to the gods in order to try to help us and become a champion of light, or do we try to delve into the supernatural? Do we have any constitution yet? We do not have any constitution, and we've only played one dark card, so there's no supernatural there. That's not an option. We're going to turn to the gods. We need their help. We're way up on our track. We're on our track. We're super right up there, trying to push our way forward to being victorious, trying to be more honorable, trying to exemplify our liege's wishes, and try to seek revenge on the sorceress. We're going to turn to the gods in order to make this happen and attempt this challenge. So it is a challenge of 5, but we can use wisdom. Do we have any wisdom? I guess that's the question. Let's see. Or do we turn to become a servant of darkness? Well, either way, we need wisdom to try to accomplish this. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. We don't have any wisdom, and we can't get a 5 with our basic runes here. So I think the gods ignore us. I think we're in this on our own. So we're not going to be able to attempt that at all unless we draw upon some dark power. Let's see. Supernatural. I mean, gain this only if you have. We don't have any constitution. Interesting. Can't use any cards to fight the demon. The hero has no allies, which we... Do we have any allies? Oops, I'm sorry about that. We don't have any allies. This challenge has a +1 versus the hero. That's really tough as well, too. All right, I think we're going to take a journey. The gods are forsaken us. We're going to discard our experience. The gods are forsaken us. Put that into our story idea, and we'll draw another card. Arcane. Here it is. This is what we've been kind of looking for. We've been trying to unlock this arcane power. You may only gain this if you have intelligence and wisdom, or if you have played 3 hero cards. We sure have. That's going to add our 3rd card to our tableau. And we now have our story. We now have our character who is going to, I'm going to try to translate into Ironsworn. And yeah, Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I said, this is a big, big undertaking for me to try to make this work and exemplify sort of this hero's journey. What we've seen here is we have this sorceress who has killed our liege. We are bound by honor. We were trying to exemplify those ideals of honor and push forward, which we have done so. But we really need to seek vengeance for the death of our Lord. We know that the sorceress is drawing power from a demon. We have no idea where she's at because we failed all those challenges. We know that there's a warlord out there now as well too who's rampaging the land, and we are trying to push forth. Our mentor who taught us some secrets has died trying to help us, and we failed in that. So we have these we've gained some bonds. We've gained some companions, some allies in this whole thing. We've got our vows. What I'll do between this session and the next, when we set up for Ironsworn, is I will translate all of this into Ironsworn terms and build our character and our world, and I'll present that to you next time. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please click a like down below, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and go check out Call to Adventure and Ironsworn today. Until next time, I'm Questwise. Game on and stay safe, my friends.